Good evening and welcome to the smoking section with Stephen Helfer. I'm Emily Ouija, and tonight in the studio we have Stephen Helfer himself and our old friend and dear friend John Ramos. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
How are you tonight?
In here.
I'm just going to turn our phone number on for anyone who's watching. We hope to have a lively discussion tonight.
Okay.
So, John, welcome. I know that you've been a friend to the organization Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights for some time. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're also a resident of public housing in Cambridge.
Yes, I am.
Yep.
At LBJ there here in Cambridge. Mm-hmm. And we seem to have a lot of problems about smoking in the building and around the building.
Is that right?
And so I know that smoking was banned in all Cambridge public housing. Was it 2 years ago or longer?
About
2 years ago.
About 2 years ago.
Yep.
And that's the one thing I haven't understood yet. I can understand barring people from smoking in the public areas of the building, but in your own apartment, where you pay rent to live, that's the hard part for me to take, is people going around sniffing to see if you're smoking in your apartment, you know what I mean?
Oh, really? So you've noticed that kind of behavior from your fellow tenants? And
it really bothers me.
It creates a bad atmosphere, an atmosphere of distrust, right?
Yeah. Well, Emily, is John saying from fellow tenants?
From fellow tenants,
They're going around trying to find out their fellow, their neighbors who are smoking, or is this officials?
Oh, good question. I don't know.
Well, it's both ends. Some of the tenants complain if they're 10 floors below about smoke coming through the ventilators and all this stuff. They make up all this stuff. And then you have the officials there who are following the rules, really. Housing said you can't smoke, so they have to look after that and see that order is carried out. And that's their role. Mm-hmm. But with the tenants, it gets pretty awful because they complain about everything.
Right.
And I mean, not just the smoke they complain about, or they're looking for something to complain about.
Well, that's interesting. Would you say that before smoking was banned in public housing, did you ever hear about complaints about smoking before that?
Very little. People just put up with it. You had your regular little groups that were complaining about smoking, but it didn't seem to bother anyone. Everyone who smoked, and and then like with myself, I had respect for people, and if I knew people didn't like smoking around me, I wouldn't smoke. I'd go somewhere else rather than stay there and see them complain. But now everyone complains.
Is that right?
And it's difficult to handle if you smoke. Mm-hmm. And the same people who complain about smoking should look in their closet and get rid of those liquor bottles. And because that's the next thing on the table, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. That doesn't sound so far-fetched at this point.
No,
it doesn't. Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting because obviously public housing is almost like this testing ground where the government can try it out and say, okay, well, here's a place where we have some control over the people.
Yeah.
We can push it through here first, see how it goes. It just seems to me like sort of a testing ground or a proofing ground to see how it's going to go before, and at many private apartments now, landlords are choosing to ban smoking as well of their own volition.
Well, smoking has become like the law they had passed for tenants, what they had to call it?
You mean like smoke?
Rent control.
Rent control, yeah.
This is pretty much the same thing.
How do you mean?
The way the officials carry these things out. I mean, they're right on a button. I mean, it just took over a whole series of people, low income. They lost a lot of the properties. If you look down Western Avenue, you think you're somewhere else.
You think you're on Rodeo Drive?
somewhere like that, because you don't see people of color no more there. The places where there were broken windows, now high white fences.
On Western Avenue.
On West Avenue. You look at it, you don't think you're in Cambridge anymore.
Right.
So things have changed. It's just like with smoking, people tolerate it, although you know they didn't like it. Now it's become the law. You know, you just can't smoke in your room 25 feet away from the building. That's the order they put out. And for some people it's good because, you know, we have, excuse me, elderly people in my building
Yes.
who can't stand smoking. And I wouldn't smoke in front of them.
Right.
But I do smoke around the building, outside the building most of the time. And sometimes when, you know, I've got a lot of problems, I can't get out, I'll light up and something like hits me in the head and I put it out, and that's it. Because I don't feel like I need to keep breaking laws
Right.
that the housing put up.
Yeah. Well, that must be stressful to
protect
have to.
other people.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm only one, and
But certainly there are a lot of people who have been smoking all of their lives, and to tell them that now you have to go out into a snowbank
yeah,
and have a cigarette.
it's hard. And you know, with me, I've been smoking for 70 years.
70 years.
Although I'm only 38. But at any rate, for all that time, the only times that I didn't smoke was when I was hospitalized. I had a lot of injuries and stuff, so I didn't smoke during that time. But 7 years I've been smoking, and all you can hear from around is how smoking is bad for your health. Well, I'm in pretty good health except for bone replacements and accidents and
Right.
all that stuff. But I'm saying, I'm not saying that people should go out and smoke. I'm just saying people who don't smoke have to look at us who do smoke. This is something that's pleasurable for this person. You know, it's not that I'm trying to break the law or violate your privacy or anything. I'm just entertaining myself with a cigarette.
Yeah.
And that's as far as it goes. And for people who don't smoke, I don't like to smoke around them.
Right.
But I think that smoking is just one of the things that everyone's sort of jumping on, smoking. And I keep looking at people jumping out of the liquor stores into the street, and I'm saying, are we on the wrong bench here? Because they say about all these things happening to you about cigarettes, and no one's talking about alcohol.
Yeah.
And all the places open. Look out here. They've opened new bars here in
Right. Yeah.
Central Square.
It's true, yeah.
One after
It's
another.
true. I think you raised a really interesting point a couple of times. I think just that people used to be much more tolerant. I think before smoking was prohibited by law, people used to, it seems like, kind of work these things out for themselves. You know, like you said, if smoking was bothering someone, you would move away. You would go stand somewhere else. Now that it's mandated by law, it seems like it's increasing
Yes.
intolerance and conflict between people. Do you think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I respect people that don't smoke, and I don't like to smoke around them. But I always felt that they're coming into my privacy, you know, telling me what I can
Well,
or can't
Laura
do.
Montgomery said that she thinks a lot of this has to do with just a kind of love of control.
Yeah.
They want to control people's
They're doing it.
behavior, you know,
Yeah.
in small ways. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand telling people you can't drive down the street at 90 miles an hour, and I understand you can't, you know, beat people up you disagree with. But now they're telling us, you know, tobacco is something that we enjoy, and like you've been smoking 70 years.
Yeah.
I'm a youngster compared to you, and I've been smoking.
Oh, come on.
I've been smoking 50
I
years.
remember you when you were a kid.
I've been smoking 50 years, John.
Yeah?
You know, I hope someday I can say that I've been smoking 70 years, and maybe even 80 or 90.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Here's to
That's
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think, that's an enjoyment for me. And I don't think I'll ever stop. I still got another 50 years to live.
We hope.
But, I don't see me stopping. Like I said, I respect for people who don't smoke. I don't feel that I should be.
Do you think, John, that in some ways our society it may be not as good as it was because fewer people smoke? Do you think smoking has any kind of benefit to society as a whole?
I don't know if it has benefits, but I know it violates, to me, violates people's rights to smoke, because now it's become a law. Now it's become, it's very dramatic how these things are going by now with smoking. And like I mentioned with liquor. Mm-hmm. And I always compare that because, I used to drink quite a bit. I stopped for years and it doesn't bother me anymore. But I was saying, I gave that up. A lot of people are giving up smoking because they don't want to violate the law, especially in public housing. They're on the case all the time.
And there's people in public housing who are scared because, if you get evicted, which they threaten you with, it's like you're out on the street.
Yeah.
You got a problem.
Yeah.
I forget how many
That's
times
so true.
they capture you smoking. You'll be out in the street probably. I just can't remember the terms of the agreements they made for people who smoke in the building. And it's become...
Well, one thing that was good is that in the fight that we had with the Cambridge Housing Authority, that Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights and the Alliance of Cambridge Tenants, we fought a good battle.
Yeah.
And as a result, the Cambridge Housing Authority said that before they actually evicted anyone, there would be a rather lengthy process.
Yeah.
Right, but I think the whole principle of it is maybe the intention is not to evict and punish people, but the intention to me is just another way to make smokers feel, like they're different in a bad way, and just to make them feel, stressed and uncomfortable because they smoke.
Yeah.
It's really just another way to push them into quitting, basically, which I think is what really bothers me the most about it.
Either to push them into quitting, or if they choose not to quit, to penalize them and punish them.
Well, to penalize them perhaps in a more subtle way than even being evicted. Even if it doesn't, it doesn't go that far, they just feel alienated. They just feel different than other people.
Well, it's what used to be called shunning.
Shunning or shaming.
Shunning.
Yep. Yeah, and then those are very, it's a very subtle, insidious kind of thing, I think. And to me, that's really the most disturbing aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it's particularly unethical when it's done by people in the medical profession or the profession of public health, because these are people who are supposed to care for everybody.
Right.
They're not supposed to punish and penalize and stigmatize and alienate and ostracize. These are people who are pledged by the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm. And here they are using penalties to shun and shame and exclude people who are not doing what they're told. So it's a violation of the most fundamental of medical ethics, in my opinion.
Yes, it is. It is. And I really don't know what can come from all this. I don't know where we're going from this point on. If it's going to be turned around at some point where, because the idea here is to get the politicians, because they're the ones that are causing some problems here. And I know a lot of politicians that smoke, but they don't smoke in public.
Right. Like Barack Obama, for example.
But I'm saying what can happen from here on in. Are they gonna step back sometime and say, we tried, and they'll use health as a process of having people quit smoking. I don't know where they're going from here. I'm just hoping that they give people a chance to do what they want with their lives. Mm-hmm. We don't live forever.
Right.
Right. So we want to the point is, it's not necessarily to prolong your life.
Yes.
The point is to enjoy the years that you were here.
Yeah.
And if you quit smoking and then live a deprived life,
Yeah.
maybe let's just say you added 2 or 3 years to your life.
Yeah.
And let's just say, I don't think you do, but let's say you did.
Yeah.
But you're living a deprived life.
Yeah,
You're
but
not
what's the
doing what
point?
you
Yeah.
enjoy and are comfortable
Right.
with.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you live 2 or 3 more years, and you add costs to the Medicare system, and add costs to the Medicaid system, and add costs to the Social Security. What is the point?
Right.
There isn't.
Right.
Now, I always am interested, what's your favorite cigarette of the day?
Well, I smoke Marlboros,
Marlboro Reds.
and I've been smoking those for quite a few years. But I can remember going back when I was a little kid, my grandfather owned a pool room, and across the street, everybody smoked, and the sailors during the war.
You're talking about
they
New
were in
Bedford,
there.
right? You're talking about New Bedford? Yeah.
Oh, you're
There
from
was
New
a-
Bedford originally.
yeah.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
There was a store across the street, and this is how far back we go. And I used to rack pool balls and stuff and get tips.
Oh, really?
And so, cigarettes at that time in the machine, you put 20 cents in.
Ah,
and
sounds
you get
pretty good.
3 cents on during the war. 3 cents on the top of the cigarettes.
Oh.
That's all.
Wait, I don't understand what you
Where
mean.
was a rebate? Like a rebate you got back? Oh, sounds pretty good to
I'm
me.
telling you, now when I see the complaints going from 20 cents to $10 a pack,
Yeah.
and people still
Yeah.
going off the hook
So-
about smoking.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
So do you buy your cigarettes just at the store here? You
Not
can
just
like-
at the machine. I had to
Yeah.
hide them.
Okay.
Because
in those days.
Because your father would see you smoke.
Oh, but you'd get a beat and you wouldn't. Oh, it was something. In those days, they didn't take parents and put them in jail for whacking the kids.
Oh, right. Oh, you had to be,
That's
yeah, right.
true.
Because with me, it was the belt or the rope or something
Wow.
to whack you out. And nobody ever said anything. It was just, he didn't behave. We have to use the belt. Because when I slap him, the teachers will notice it and come, all the stuff.
Yeah, it was quite different.
Now,
Yeah.
if that happened, the parents go to jail.
Yeah.
But it's, times have changed.
And was your father from Cabo Verde?
Excuse me?
Is your father from Cabo Verde?
Yeah, Cape Verde Islands, yeah.
Were you born in the Cape?
No, I was born here.
In New Bedford.
In America, yeah.
In New Bedford?
No, Tewksbury.
Oh, Tewksbury,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they had some kind of business out there. I can't remember.
You mean your mother and father?
My uncle. I had uncles. All they did was the ones that weren't on the merchant marines on those ships were in some kind of little business, open up a grocery store and anything, And so my whole family came from that kind of situation. I was probably the only poor one in the family.
And then I'm
I'm still poor.
Well, you spend all your money at the casino, that's why.
No, I make money.
Well, nobody makes money at the
Which
casino.
casino do you like?
Sure.
Which casino is your favorite?
I just like to go on trips. I like to travel and pass, because I had these replacements. I haven't been able to get out of the country like I like to, because I've been to about 19 countries.
Oh.
And I love to see how other people live.
That's great.
Not only live, but it's so nice to just get away from me, and you know, it is.
It definitely is. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Emily and I were at Mohegan Sun recently.
Where?
Mohegan Sun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we like it well,
Oh.
because obviously at a lot of casinos, not in Massachusetts, but in Connecticut, you can smoke still
Yeah.
in casinos, so
Yeah.
it's nice. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think in Massachusetts you're going to be able to smoke in the casino.
No, I don't. And so they're building a new one in Revere, and I don't think you're
Oh,
gonna be.
yeah?
I don't think you're gonna be allowed to
I
smoke
haven't
there.
been to any casino
Yeah.
in Massachusetts yet. I just get these nice deals to go to Las Vegas.
Ah.
You know, for 1 week.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've never been there. I want to go. Yeah.
You'll love it.
That's on my list. next.
Everywhere you go,
If any of our viewers
there's
want to
something
donate to
going on.
my Las Vegas fund, feel free. Okay.
And if you like dinners, that's the place. You go to the casino, you spend your money, go up the elevator,
Yeah.
and you go have this large meal for free.
Nice. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's a nice
But
place.
Mohegan Sun, the buffet, I don't know, is that free? That's not free though, at
Yeah.
Mohegan Sun.
I don't. It's not free, but I think we had gotten a free coupon.
Yeah.
For it. But anyway, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't take advantage of it.
But
unfortunately.
it's also very pleasant because you see so many people there
Yes.
who are enjoying smoking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like they are given the opportunity to be free and just to smoke as if they are not criminals.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of these people are hardworking people.
No kidding.
You know, they're hardworking.
They are.
They're tax-paying citizens.
Yes.
And yet they are made to feel ashamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so when they go to when they go to a casino like in Mohegan Sun, and they can smoke, and they can all of a sudden be like regular people again.
Yeah. It's true.
And
Yeah.
it's a very beautiful thing to see, in my
Yes.
opinion.
It is.
Yes. That's, boy, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm hoping that the people would get together and put several groups like they are now and really go after, especially here in Cambridge. Here in Cambridge, I think the City Hall has a lot to do with this. And I think that people need to pay attention to that, of who they vote for, what they vote for. And then I'm not saying that smoking's good for everybody, but I think giving respect to people who do smoke, just leave people alone.
Right.
It's hard enough
Yeah.
to get up in the morning,
Life is not easy.
you know.
You know, and without these little pleasures that we have, like,
That's it.
like
Wow.
a cigarette or a coffee or
That's
a
right.
beer
Yeah.
or a, you know, or a little scratch ticket,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
That's it.
That kind of makes, you know, the difference between, you know, being able to enjoy one's life with these little pleasures or not. And they're trying to take this pleasure away from us.
Was every
know.
day.
Because they think they know better. They think, you know, they think that we're so stupid we don't even know what's in our
Yeah.
self-interest. And that's a bad thing to,
Yes.
you know, to think that you know how other people should live.
Yep.
And it's very hard to deal with.
But we have to give credit to our Cambridge City Council because, you know, like a lot of cities, they ban smoking in the public parks, and you know, Cambridge Citizens for Smokers' Rights and other people went to the City Council, and even Mark McGovern, whose idea it was, I
Yes.
think,
Yeah.
he changed his mind. Said, "Well, we'll ban it in small parks, but we'll be freer." You
Yeah.
know,
It could have been worse than it
it
was.
could have been a lot worse.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, and ultimately, the decision to ban smoking in public housing was actually not up to the Cambridge Council, right?
No, it had nothing to do with the council.
Right. So I mean, we, you know, that was Hood, right? Hood's decision.
Yes.
So you know, and I'm not actually sure that the Cambridge Council was completely convinced of the wisdom
Yeah.
of banning it, but
And what they don't see is some of these people have worked all their lives. Now they're elderly, and this is one of their only enjoyments.
right.
You know, and you want to pull that away from
But
people.
I met this woman over at, what was it, Roosevelt Towers. And she was 85 years old.
Yeah,
She sat in her apartment. She smoked cigarettes and had nips. You know, I don't think she got drunk and watched TV.
yeah.
You know, and this is an elderly woman. She wasn't bothering anybody.
Anybody.
That's-
And
Sounds like-
her son would visit her,
Yeah.
you know, and bring her groceries and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And here these people want to say she's got to go out into the snow to have a
Yeah.
cigarette.
Yeah,
know.
it boggles the mind.
In my building, we have some people just, there's no way they can get up and go out.
Right.
Especially in this weather
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You know, they have a lot of other problems. And I don't know if they're smoking or not. I'm just saying it looks that way, that some people smoke. And they have this rule, I forget how many times you get caught and you get evicted. I don't know even if they can evict you. Sounds that way.
Yeah.
Oh, they can.
You know.
Yes, they can.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about in Massachusetts, but it was in Connecticut. There was a case of a man who was evicted actually from elderly housing for smoking because he kept smoking. And they kept telling him stop smoking, but he was also incapacitated. I don't think he was able to leave his apartment, so he just kept smoking, and they evicted him.
And he was a war veteran.
He was a war veteran
90,
as well.
90-year-old war
90-year-old
veteran.
war veteran.
And they evicted him?
Yep.
They were moving to evict him, and then he died.
I believe he did. He did
and
die.
his relatives
right.
said that the stress and everything on a 90-year-old.
90-year-old guy, sure.
That's right. Yep. So I mean, luckily, I have not heard of anything like that happening in Massachusetts yet. But I wouldn't be surprised to hear of a case like that. Yeah.
Yeah, smoking has become a big problem. And there's so many other things they should be aiming at other than.
Well, we're
cigarettes.
fighting back, John. And,
Yes.
we fought back with Cambridge Housing and people like you and
Yeah.
people like Gene Hannon and, Bill Cunningham. And, so we there's hope.
And I think people like you speaking out also really help. So thank you so much. For being
John,
here
thanks for
listening.
coming on tonight.
Thank you.
I hope people are listening, and if you're